Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the madness. Keep it 100. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible Study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608 at yahoo.com. That's BROBILL 9608 at yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
STMK Radio 100. You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
Yes, this is a PSA, a public street announcement. You are now listening to a Kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
Good afternoon and welcome to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100. I'm your host, Sean L., and today in Studio 51 with me, we are with Sax Man and Doug Million is trapped out in a snowstorm. So that's really, really wild right there. He's in the snowstorm, and he's not going to be with us.
I believe he faked that.
No, he didn't fake it. He's out there, but he's probably playing hooky. Hope he's watching us right now. Today we're going to talk about some local issues first right here in Cleveland, Ohio. We have a mayoral election going on, and we want everybody to be part of it. Remember in the last show I talked about democracy. You had to have comes with responsibility, and when you fail to do your responsibility and get out and vote and take a serious look at the candidates, you get what you get. And on the phone today with us, we have a distinguished young man who has served his community for 25 years. And now he's getting ready to take on the fight of his life, going against a councilman who held office for 38 years. And we're on the phone right now with Roland Mitchell, who's running for Ward 4 here in the city of Cleveland.
He's a candidate. He's a potential candidate for.
Roland, are you there with us?
Yes, sir. How are you this evening?
I'm doing just good. How are you doing this evening?
I can't complain.
Okay, well, Roland, we are Facebook Live, we are Snapchat, we are Instagram, and we are YouTube Live. We like to thank all our social media outlets for coming up, and we are being broadcast in 19 cities on internet radio. If you have the internet radio, you got go to channel 172. And if you got the phone app or if you got Android, you can go and catch us on a phone app. So without further ado, Roland, I know you personally, so I got to do a little thing. I know that this young man right here is a distinguished person, so I can vouch for that. But Roland, why don't you tell everybody why you're running for councilman?
Well, the biggest reason that I retired was to come out in my community and affect some change and to make a difference. And the one way I thought that I could best serve would be on the local level as a councilman.
Okay, that's
Are you still there?
Yeah, we still hear you. Hear it? We are in the chat room right here, and they got some questions for you. So the first question is, you know that you're going against a person that's been in council for 38 years now?
I believe so.
What changes? What are you going to do different than what the sitting councilman is doing right now?
Well, my vision actually is to galvanize the community. What I feel hasn't happened in the past, the community hasn't had the involvement that they should have. You know, a lot of times what we do, we will elect the city official, and we will expect them to go in office, and we kind of step back and let that city official do what we think should be done. But when it doesn't happen, you know, it becomes an issue of, well, now what do? We have to find a replacement person or another person. Well, my position is I want the community to be involved in the process from the beginning. You know, I want to include the community, and that's all segments of the community, from the elderly to the young. You know, our youth, you know, they're so disenchanted with a lot of things that happen,
Right.
and a lot of times it's because they don't have a voice.
Right, that is
you
correct.
know what? I want you to have a voice.
Well,
I want you to have a voice. I want you to go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you in there for a minute. Go ahead.
I want our youth to have a voice, get in the process, and be included in the decision making, and you'll feel part of it, and you will get engaged, and you know that's how you kind of groom your future leaders. You know, and that's what I think's been missing in the past. We expect our representatives to go in and represent us, but we still need to participate in the process because it all starts with the community.
And that's something that we talked about earlier in one of our shows, is the process of democracy is getting out and voting. The question here from our social media, as I told you, that we are in the chat room, and we are more web-based type of web station talk show, is the ward you're taking borderlines on 93rd. Is that correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
It borders, it starts at 93rd and borders Shaker Heights.
Okay, now that Councilman, your ward has part of that of where the murders took place.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, you know, the young lady, when she caught the bus, I guess the last they saw of her, she got off the bus at East 93rd and Kinsman, and they're not sure what happened after that. So yes, that would be part of Ward 4.
Oh, okay. So that's part of Ward 4. What I want to ask you is, when you become councilman, what are we going to do about putting the buses back into the school so our kids don't have to catch RTA and go through the neighborhoods like that.
See, and I'm kind of that young lady went to a charter school, so I'm not sure what the policy is for charter schools. But the Cleveland system, I was a product of busing when it originally started years ago.
Okay.
And what they did was they bused from middle school down, and the high school kids were older, more responsible, and they rode public transportation. And I thought that was what was still occurring now. But in this young lady's case, I'm not sure what happened because she went to a charter school. So I'm not sure what their policy is
Well,
as far as transportation. and who's
let me
responsible.
let me jump in here for a minute. Wasn't this young lady a special needs or something?
Well, that's what the news said,
Mm-hmm.
which further baffles my mind as to why she was on public transportation to start.
Right, exactly.
But again, I don't know what the charter school policy is and procedures as far as transportation.
Okay,
You know,
so
I would have to look into that.
let me ask you this other question right there. This election is going to turn on police reform. We have talked with a lot of candidates for mayor. Eric Brewer's out there. He already fired his shots. How do you see the community and the police department, and in that contents of going on police reform, what is your vision?
Well, you know what? Having been a policeman for 25 years, and I totally understand the police culture. When the Department of Justice came in and did their assessment, it was a critique.
Yes.
And a lot of times in law enforcement, we are thin-skinned and we don't accept criticism very well,
Mm-mm.
but it's just that, it's just criticism. And the issue of the chain of training, it's all training. It's basically training. So as a policeman, I want as much training as I could get. The reform was, if you don't agree with everything that they said from the Department of Justice, okay, that's fine. But you're going to get training, and that's what you need. You need more equipment. You need the tools that will help you go out and work positively in the community. So we can't really get caught up on what the Department of Justice came here and they critiqued us bad. Well, that's not a big deal. We should be able to accept some criticism, and with accepting that criticism, then, okay, well, give us some additional training. Give us more tools to use in the community. So, that's my position on the reform. Okay, you came in and you told us what we needed. Okay, well, give us some more training. Not a big deal, but give us good training.
And the second thing is that you was working on, all the commercial stores closing and leaving the inner city. Macy's, Sears is closing down. Uh, I did a little research and I see that Finest or not Finest no more. Giant Eagles in Ward 4 was closing down. And actually, you got involved in that involved in that case also. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you know what? From what we were able to gather, I guess the Buckeye location was an underperforming store. And there were some other issues that contributed to the closing of the Buckeye location. And, Giant Eagle made the decision to close. The issue in the community was, number one, the community was not notified in a timely fashion. Had we been notified in a timely fashion, then we could have explored some other options. And one thing that happened in this process was Giant Eagle signed a lease renewal in 2016 of January for 3 years. So they've made it an additional year, so there's 2 years remaining in the lease. Well, the property can't be released unless the Giant Eagle Corporation releases the lease. So if they choose to release the lease, then we can explore some other options. And I've been speaking with a lot of people in the community, and they've had a lot of great ideas like urban markets and things of that nature. But it all starts and stops with that property being released so it can be repurposed by another organization.
But if Giant Eagle is still
So,
under contract, under their contract lease, what would make them release it back to whom? Who are they going to release it to?
well, well, the property owners is a company out of Ontario, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And Giant Eagle, okay, you close your outlet. And Giant Eagle, I guess they're going to continue to pay for the next 2 years on the lease, even though the store is not there.
So they're gonna pay.
So it would be they have to live off their lease, but it would be to Giant Eagle's advantage to say, okay, you know what, we'll release the property so it can be released, and they could make some arrangements, and they can do it legally, where maybe the next group that's coming in can assume the lease.
How will they get their money back for the 2 year lease that they're out of? Would they get their money back?
Well,
or
now,
would it be some type of?
that I'm not sure about. They're going to, right as it stands now, they're going to pay for the next 2 years. But if they release the property, maybe the next group coming in can go, okay, tell you what, we'll take we'll compensate you for those 2 years that you're going to have to pay.
Right.
And that alleviates you from any responsibility from the property.
Right. And that would make more
So,
sense than just giving it up and not getting nothing back for it.
Exactly. It's not to their advantage to retain it, or it's more in their advantage to release it.
Exactly.
So they do like what now Giant Eagle's doing a ghost store. Actually, that's what they're doing. They're paying for property, but nothing's going to be there except the bright of the property. There's another question I want to ask you about. Everybody want to know about this dirt bike park. Spending $2 million on a dirt bike track and in the inner city with 87% of the dirt bikes on the street right now running around are stolen or from eBay. Is that a good expenditure right now for a city that's in financial strife?
Well, you know what? The young man that's out here that's riding these dirt bikes and causing havoc on the roadway with motorists, they're not out there because they don't have a place to operate their vehicles. They're out there because it's like a challenge. We're going to go out here and we're going to disturb.
It's a fun
people.
thing for them to do.
And
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's fun.
And you know what?
Yeah.
They know that the police has a no chase policy.
They changed the policy,
we
and
can
ever
go
since
out
they
here.
changed the pursuit policy, that's when it's been they've been running havoc all over the city. And that's why there's been a lot of accidents. These things running deep. Did we just have one recently where a three-wheeler ran into a motorist and caused some injury to the motorist? It just recently happened.
Well, there was a young man just the other day that I think he killed himself.
Yeah.
He was riding one of those dirt bikes or three-wheelers, and he crashed, and it was a fatal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
what
second fatal.
public-
Uh,
and that's the second young man.
yes.
What the public, or what I have an issue with, is these aren't kids that want a dirt bike for the sport of it.
Mm-hmm.
These are and they're not just kids; they're grown men,
Exactly.
25 and 30-year-old out here riding
Exactly.
these bikes. So this is not, it's not like you got a group of kids and say we just need someplace to do this at.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about crimes that were committed originally to get the dirt bike.
Exactly.
Right. So
these aren't your run-of-the-mill kids that just need a place to do a sport.
They want to get on social media. They want to videotape themselves. I don't know if you've seen the video of kids. They was riding their dirt bikes in the middle of the street, and they ride up close to a vehicle till they get almost on it, and then they veer off real quick. That was some type, I forget what they call that, but people was videotaping and they was posting it all on Facebook and other social media. They was laughing about it, and they thought it was cool. A lot of them was riding up close to vehicles and swerving away from them. That's some type of fun thing for them to be doing these days. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Well, you know what? It's like the young guys that would be out on the highway with the motorcycles doing the wheelies and they would film it and all that. You know what? It's all fun and games
Until you lose an eye.
it's fatal and someone
Right.
exactly,
Right.
or until you run into something and kill yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, well, woe is me. Well, you know what? No, because that was preventable.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, if you need a dirt bike, if you need a dirt bike track, didn't say we need a dirt bike track, but nobody's saying that we need a dirt bike track. They're not saying we need a dirt bike track.
Do you think that's a waste of city funds to build a dirt track?
In light of all the other needs that we have in the city of Cleveland, I think some of those needs should be
addressed first. Exactly.
And if there's some leftover revenue, then you can apply it towards a recreation facility.
Yeah, we need to stop patching potholes. We need to stop patching potholes and repair the entire street. I agree.
Well, you know what? Exactly. You know what? Tear down some of these abandoned houses.
Yes.
Fix our rec centers.
Exactly.
Well, in the chat,
fix our rec. Start some social programs.
Mm-hmm.
in the chat room, they was just talking about that, Roland, that you just mentioned about the abandoned houses. The city of Cleveland has to change the laws on some of these abandoned properties and hold the property owners responsible, because what happens is when you fail to hold property owners accountable, they hide their property in the Dutch bank and everywhere where can't nobody find out who they are.
Second and third names.
Right, or fourth names.
Yeah.
And it's hard for the city to take control of the property because it's private property. Right. But I think ordinances might need to be instituted where if somebody gets killed on that property or hurt, the city will step in on behalf of the person and help them find the owner and file a suit against the banks and stuff. What you think about that?
Well, you know what? I have an opinion about the abandoned house issue. A lot of these properties have been purchased and flipped and flipped and flipped. Mm-hmm. So what I think the city could do, well, you know what? You go to the title bureau, who financed this house? When you purchase a vehicle and finance a vehicle, when you don't pay that loan, they come and repossess the vehicle.
Correct.
Because it belongs to whoever financed the vehicle. Well, I don't see where a house could be that much different. You go to the title company and go, okay, well, who owns it? Who financed it? If you can find a financer, well, okay, you financed this property. Who's the owner? Right. And if they won't assist you, then ultimately, you know what? You wrote the loan. You should be responsible. Do it like they do a car. Hold the finance companies responsible for some of these abandoned houses. And that way, you know what? You can either repair it, demolish it, or you can give it up to the city.
Or right.
And you can. So I don't see the process being that much different, but that's the problem. You're right, finding the owners of these properties, and by them being flipped and flipped and flipped or resold. But you know what? Go take another approach. You know what? Okay, well, who financed some of these properties?
Right.
Now, when you look,
if you can find the banks.
Now, when you look at this, also in the city of Cleveland, we're talking about 2 years high of homicide rates, and they changed the way they report the crimes. So the thing about manpower, we're 500 officers down, with officers retiring and leaving daily. Shouldn't the administration, and now you're going to be part of that administration, be trying to figure out how to get more people into law enforcement and out there in the street to improve the services?
You know what? It's always great to see policemen, and I support police 1,000%.
Oh yeah.
But the homicide rate, you know what? Nobody's going to kill anybody with the police standing there. They're going to wait until the police drive down the street and commit their homicide.
That's correct.
So we need to start looking at what some of the root causes of these homicides. You have a lot of them that's drug related. You have a lot of them that's gang related. So we need to start addressing some of those issues. And that's where I said, well, we have to speak to our youth. And what's the best way to speak to a young person? You know what? You have another person speak with that young person because they speak the same language.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
50 plus
I
years
realized
old.
that.
I don't speak I don't speak the same language as a 20-year-old.
Get off the court.
So you know what? You pull in some of the peer groups that are doing good, and you let them speak to to their uh, to their to their peer group and go, hey, you know what? Maybe you need to rethink that. I mean, that's the start to me. You have to address some of the root issues, and the police can't solve everything.
Well, yeah.
The police do a great job, but you can't solve everything.
Well, you know what? I got another question that the chat room came up with about if you look at the local bar shootings, okay, and the one that just took place, especially up in the fourth district, you had about 3 or 4. Half of those people involved in those shootings, and like the one that just took place 2 days ago with the homicide and 5 guys that got shot, those individuals shouldn't even be in a bar. They're not even old enough to go into the establishment. So, shouldn't the administration and council start enforcing the laws on the books of grabbing those licenses and closing those places down?
Yeah.
Because now you have kids with that are not old enough to be in the bar drinking, 19-year-old in the 21-year-old establishment, plus they have firearms. That's a bad mix right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a bad mix for an adult, alcohol and a firearm. And I agree with you 100%. You have the liquor control agencies. You know what? They need to be beefed up. They need to issue out citations. They need to find these places. They need to close them down. You know what? If the city was what option they could use, you know what? If your establishment is a perpetual problem on a weekly basis, you know what? You cite them for that. You know what? If we have to send the policeman or the fire department or EMS to your establishment on a regular basis, then it's a problem. It's a nuisance. And you know what? You have to pay for the privilege of being a nuisance. You start finding the bar owners. You send the liquor control agents in there.
Just give me 1 minute, rolling for everybody. Facebook Live, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube Live. We're on the phone with a distinguished young man who is running for council in the city of Cleveland, Ward 4, and he's running to make this change that everybody talked about. And he's not holding any punches. He's talking about police reform. He's talking about coming into the neighborhood, getting the community responsible and make them hold up their end of the contract. And he's talking about making change on day one, good change on day one. And we're talking to Roland Mitchell, and he's running for Councilman of Ward 4, and he's running against one of a council person that's been there 38 years. And he has some good things to say. So I want everybody to know y'all need to give his brother a chance and check him out.
Right.
When are you giving town halls, or where are you holding your meetings at? Can you tell us some of that, where your round tables are being done at and stuff, so people can come out in your ward and get to meet you and hear your platform and see what you're talking about?
Well, at this point, I've been throwing myself into the local ward meetings, and I'm hitting the pavement. I'm knocking on doors. I set up a Facebook website for my campaign. And I would love to have some town hall meetings. We're going to try and schedule some of those in the future, because the primary is not until September. So, we have to stay relevant. We have to keep working, and we are going to schedule some town hall meetings. I'm going to a senior building in a couple of weeks to talk to some of the seniors. So I'm slowly making my rounds, and we're going to schedule some town hall meetings. And my website is open to the public, so you can post information on there. If you're interested in having a town hall meeting with me and the other candidates, you know what? Put it on my Facebook website, which is Mitchell for Ward 4. And I will gladly, come out, and we can sit down and we can have this conversation.
For Facebook, if you didn't hear that, we're on the phone, and we're trying to pump sound into the studio, so it's kind of hard because our social media outlet is taking the sound from us. But he said he has a Facebook page, Mitchell Ward 4, on Facebook. Check the brother out, and let's show him some love.
So support.
And
yes.
let's go out there and support, because we need some changes.
Yes, we do.
The other thing I want to talk about is that they're talking about right here. Community and development to bring the money away from downtown back into the community and our schools to help our kids and to give them something to do, like the rec centers and things like that. Uh, have you made a plan yet on how to finance your ward to take your ward money and other than doing streets and stuff, put it to where there's programs for the kids to do?
You know what? I don't have a hard plan as of yet because I'm not sure what kind of funding we're working with. But if I'm not mistaken, that each ward has development companies that assist with block grants and things of that nature. So the big thing is going to be, you know what? I want to hear from the community. What do you think we need as a community? When I grew up as a young man, and I've lived in my ward my entire life, and I know what it was when I was a young man, and I knew what it meant to me. If it wasn't for all the assets in my community at the time that I grew up, I wouldn't have been as successful as I am now.
Right.
So we want the community's input. I want the community's input.
Now,
I don't want to make the decision.
Now, let me ask you this question right here because a lot of the consumers, and one of our chat room members brought this up, so I'm going to talk about this one right here. The energy surcharge that being passed on to the people of Cleveland and suburbs, connection with water and electricity, and with no explanation or where the money's going at or anything like that. So if you get on the utility committee or finance committee, because you know there's a lot of committees that they're going to probably pull you to, would you push for the community to be better informed on what their money's being spent on, and would you fight for them for these charges to be taken because all of a sudden they just appear on a bill? So would you fight for their rights?
Well, you know, in this day and age, they charge you for everything. And of course, my part of my platform is about communication. And that's what we lack in our community at this point, that we're not very well informed. And my motto is, you know what, everything, all information that I think my community should know, I'm going to tell it.
Right.
And of course, I would fight. I'm going to the door fighting for my community from day one. And it's all about information. You can't make an intelligent decision if you lack the proper information.
Okay.
You know, and like you said, you know, they put on these surcharges. But what are they doing with the money that with the revenue that they're making, that they're getting? You know, does it just go into the general fund and the mayor dispenses it as he sees fit? You know, and as we said earlier, you know, our community, we have a lot of needs.
That is correct.
So we need to go in. We need to go in and see, okay, what are you spending the money on?
And I want to tell everybody in the chat, wait a minute, Roland, I don't mean to cut you off, but, you know, I have to do a disclosure. I want to tell everybody that's listening to us on internet radio and the chat room, this young man has served his community for 25 years as a law enforcement officer and first responder. And he's my brother, so I'm giving him time on my show. So I got to put the disclosure out there, okay, that this young man is a very fine, upstanding person, and he will make a great councilman and make that change that the community is looking for and needed. We're talking with candidate, I'm going to call him councilman elect in a minute, Roland Mitchell, who's running for City Council Ward 4. Now, I'm going to ask you a question here that everybody wants to know. So everybody that's running in for office have a person that they really like to work with at the top. So you know that the city of Cleveland has 13 people running for mayor, and they have 2 people that have not put in their paperwork yet, but they're going to try to. Now, out of those 13 people, I'm going to name 3 people to you that one would be Jeff Johnson. The other one would be Jerome Bell, who is I think he's a millionaire or something that he's running, and Frank Jackson. Have you had a chance to sit down and look at what their platform is, and does their platform conforms to your platform where you think you can make a bond, get in there and make it a team?
Well, at this point, I don't think there's a lot of information that's been put out yet because this is early in the process. But my philosophy is I don't have anybody that's a favorite. I'm going to work with whoever wins the election. I'm not in the habit of endorsing anybody or saying who I like or who I dislike. I'm going to work with whoever gets the seat.
Okay.
It's
Hello.
I don't really have a favorite. I don't have a favorite.
Okay. And we can understand that with the favorite. Now, for the people who are not in the city of Cleveland, who looks at Democrats, I look for your affiliation. It said nonpartisan. So, are you affiliated with a certain party? Because somebody's asking, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. Are you a Democrat? Or are you a Republican? Are you an independent?
Well, actually, I more lean towards the Democratic Party, but I have some conservative views. But I'm a Democrat.
Okay.
But again,
Okay.
you know what? I'm all about practical. What's practical?
Okay,
What
so
works.
that asks, there you go right there, because we have people in the chat room that's also looking for things for you, and they're pulling up things and they're asking the thing, and I have to let everybody know that Roland Mitchell has been an investigator. He has a lot of knowledge, and it's not like he's just coming on the scene. He's been in Cleveland, as he said, his whole life. He served the city for 25 years as a Cleveland police officer and an investigator. He was one of my co-workers. Okay, so I'm putting a disclosure out there. I'm not throwing no softballs. Okay, and I love the brother. I'm just going to tell you right now. I
Well,
have nothing.
Sean, I was going
But
to ask him, would he give us his resume? That way we'll know if he's qualified to be our.
Well, he already gave you his resume, and I already told you he
Hey,
qualified.
I wanted to hear
Okay,
it from him. I want to know
because
what's up.
any man, let me tell you this, any man who been on the Cleveland Police Force longer than 10 years, not only are they qualified for anything, but they get a free pass into heaven.
Oh well, shit. I guess I'm going.
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna put that out there. I'm gonna make that stamp. Okay, so he don't have to justify anything on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, because we're telling our community this is a person that we need to get behind.
Right.
STMK Radio 100 is backing Roland Mitchell, and this is a brother that we need to get behind so we can make that change that all of us so much want. Okay, we allowed so many people to sit at home. 46.7% in the presidential election, and look at the mess it has cost us. Okay, so we can't allow that. We have to start at home. We have to start with our councilman, our mayor, and then we have to start with our state senators and get the state of Ohio together first. Then we can go to Washington, and that's what we preaching right now, Roland. So, Roland, we want you to. We appreciate you coming on to the show.
Yes, we are.
What we want to do is before we get rid of you, or I shouldn't say that, before you leave us, I want you to talk to our audience and just tell them what you think. And I'm gonna just give you the floor, and you go ahead and take the audience in the social media platform and tell them what you want them to know.
Okay, well, you know what? Getting back to your co-host question about my resume.
Okay.
Fantastic question. More than happy to tell you my resume.
All right.
And I've told my story when I was a policeman for 25 years. I would talk to people that I arrested, and I would tell them my story because I have absolutely nothing to hide. I've lived in Ward 4 since I was 9 years old. Okay. I had my first job in Ward 4 at the corner store. I worked in that corner store until I was 18 years of age. I dropped out of high school. I got my GED. I got a job at Mount Sinai. I worked there for 7 years, and I took the police examination and went through the process and became a Cleveland policeman, and still living in Ward 4. And as I said earlier, you know what? I tell my story because I'm nothing special. I don't consider myself something special. I've made some good choices, and I've had some very good people in my life that has set my feet in the right direction, and it all started with living in Ward 4.
Okay.
I purchased my first reliable vehicle from a car dealership at East 103rd and Shaker Boulevard. It was a Saab dealership.
Yeah, I remember that.
I bought my first big boy suit when I became a man at Lou's Menswear on Buckeye.
On Buckeye, yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah, that's right. I bought my first big boy suit.
Yeah.
I purchased my first home on Forest Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I purchased my second home where I reside now on Southington in the Bucker Shake area.
Right.
So I've been here my entire life. I know what my community was when I grew up and what it did for me. And I want the young people now to have that those same possibilities. You know, I went to the corner store that I worked at for 8-9 years. It was a black-owned store. You know, our kids need to see people that look like them.
You can't find that no more in the neighborhood. You can't find black.
Wait a minute. Would you say that one more time? Just repeat that one more time for me, what you just said.
That our kids need to see people that look like them in business.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You know,
there you go. That's correct. I love that.
Gives you an idea. You know what? I can make it. I can do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your community sets the stage for your life. And my stage was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was not considered middle class, low income, but I never knew it. You know, my mother, she taught us to work, to make smart decisions. You know, I didn't go to college. You know, I went into the workforce. You know, and college is not for everyone. Not to say that college won't benefit you, but not everybody is college material. But that doesn't mean that you can't be a success.
Well, you got your education on the city streets, so there's a different type of education right there. You know, everybody don't get education like that. The streets either educate you or destroy you.
Destroy you, yeah.
Okay, and you came out on top of that one. So college is not something that you need when you get education like that.
Well, you know what? The one thing that I took with me from my start in law enforcement was compassion and empathy. You know, and living in the inner city and growing up in the inner city, you know, I understand why some people's toils and problems, but it's all about good decision making.
Correct.
And that's what we have to teach our young kids now. You know, you can make good decisions. Your start does not always dictate where you finish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have to start at the front of the pack to win the race.
Right.
Well, people, you heard that right there from you heard that live right there from the candidate Roland Mitchell, who's running for Ward 4 councilman.
Our next councilman award for.
Oh, he's going to be the next elect. I know he's running against Kenneth Johnson, who's been there 38 years. I mean, this is like the Mike Tyson versus Goliath fight, you know.
Yeah.
He's going up against a foe who has his whole thing. There's another New England thing, but I do believe that we're going to see a real upset. You know, Mitch, before the election, we'd like to get you back on our show. You know, you're going to always be welcome here with me because you're my brother, and I'm going to do everything I can. I want you to email me all of the things you're doing. I want to know your town halls so I can come into the town halls and report them with them. You are always welcome on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, and STMK Radio 100 will be a platform for you, and we want to get you back on the show, and we really appreciate you coming and spending your day with us. And everybody in the
will.
chat room and everything. And I'm going to post this up. Can people post on your page?
Yes, Mitchell for Ward 4.
Okay, I'm
And
going.
I put everything on Mitchell for Ward 4, so I keep trying to keep people updated as to what I'm doing and what my activities are. So,
Okay,
yeah,
so what
Mitchell
we're
for
going to
Ward
do
4.
is when we pull this down, because we are live and we do it in MP4 form, when we pull this down and post it to our Facebook page, I'm going to transfer it over to your Facebook page so you will have the beginning of this show and have your interview for your constituents to see and hear you live. And once again, my brother, I thank you for coming on, and we will have you back, and we want you to stay with us, and we want you to continue the good work. And for all the people out there, I want you to know that on your Facebook Live, we Facebook Live right now, and we have your fellow Conrads, Gerald Hall, Aline, Charles, and a couple of Jerry, and a lot of law enforcement officer Mary Kay Barron. They came on Facebook and they here live giving me some love, and they're going to support you also. And he want to thank all of y'all. And Mitch, please come back and be with us, and I'll get in touch with you, and we'll talk about that, okay?
It was great talking to you.
Without doubt, my brother.
Great talking.
Same here. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, my brother, and you have a very, very good day.
You do the same, my brother. Peace.
Good luck.
Right there on the telephone with us, we had Mitch Rowland, who is running for councilman in the city of Cleveland, and we're talking about local issues first. But we got to go pay some bills, and we will be right back.
Hey, Thirst, can I try out a few Coke Summer sound effects on you? Yes. Cool. You okay with this? Yes. And this? Yes. And what about this? Yes. Ha! Gotcha there, Thirst. That wasn't sound effects. That was a Coke. I'm no longer thirsty. You're so out of here. Coca-Cola.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the Wacky Waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the Wacky Waterfall.
It's a shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico.
And now back to John with the weather.
Yes, Andy. Tonight, a big storm. Storm this! Get the soccer offer from Pizza Hut and Pepsi. With every 2 medium pan Super Supreme, you get a real soccer ball and 4 cans of Pepsi for free. Yes, a real soccer ball and 4 cans of Pepsi for free. Yes, Pepsi the soccer ball. Don't miss the Pizza Hut and Pepsi soccer offer. With every 2 medium pan Super Supreme, you get a real soccer ball and 4 cans of Pepsi for free. What about the weather, Eddie? Don't resist and call 19,000 now.
You're listening to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 with your host, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100, 100, 100, 100.
Welcome back.
You're listening to
Welcome back to Studio 51. We're back here with Sax Man on a snowy Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, snowing
And
bad.
on the telephone, we have the GG.
Gigi, say something, girl.
GG, say something. Come on in with us.
Gigi, say something.
Oh, we didn't lost it. The snow has taken us out.
Gigi, are you there, baby? Gigi, are you there?
No, she's not gone. Oh, okay. We thought we was getting ready to have to leave you. G, what's up? How you doing today?
Yes, I am here. How y'all doing?
We're doing fine. You got something to tell us about that G thing?
Oh, I'm glad you got it correct this time instead of trying to get me to be the G spot, because I can give me your number and I can send you a link to the G thing, and then you would know what the G thing is all about.
Well, what was? Well, why don't you tell our audience today what you put out there?
Well, actually, right now I'm working on. I'm really kind of disappointed for real, because I'm working. What I'm working on myself is because last time I talked to you guys, I had told you that I had just found out that my nationality is a Moor.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, we are all Moors. But it's a lot of us don't recognize it, don't want to recognize it, and it's just ridiculous. I have no understanding for that. So in saying that, that's what I'm working on right now. But I'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff on my G thing.
Now, Gigi, what is a Moor?
What is a Moor? A
Yeah.
Moor actually definition of a Moor is just a person of color.
So you just
But
found
that's
out.
our nationality. We are not black. They made that up.
So you just
All right?
found out
Black
that you
come
was.
out in the 15,000s. Moors was out every step like before the 14,000s.
Okay.
You know,
So you
it's
just
like
found out,
we're not
Gigi.
black, we're not Negroes. We
Gigi.
are more Americans. We are not. Those names were made up.
So what are you? Okay, you're more. You're not an African American. You're not a black. You're not Negro.
No, I'm a more American.
You're
That's
more
what I am.
American. You
I'm a more American.
You are
So
more
are you.
American than the white American.
And for everybody.
You are more American also.
Okay, but Gigi, tell our audience what made you look for this.
Because someone brought it to my attention, and out of all the years I've been living, I never knew this. Because if I had knew this before, I would have been investigated it and been studied it, and then I would have my identification stating that I am a more American.
So the last 85 years, you just figured it out, huh?
Figured nothing out. I didn't know. It's not funny. It's not funny. That's not funny. I didn't know. So I've been brainwashed, like we all been brainwashed. That's why you're over there laughing, because you've been brainwashed also.
Well, you know that's Stanley.
It's not a funny situation.
You know,
for real.
you know Stanley like that. You know he got a problem, right?
Look. Let me explain something to y'all. To be a more American. Now, is that MORE, MOOR? How's it spelled?
It's MOOR.
Okay, to be a more American, just not discovering it now. How did you go by finding it? Did you have to go do? Did you go in a cave and you were digging on something and you seen like writings on a cave wall or something of some cave people and it was play? How did you find this out?
Actually, I met as a friend of mine, and he is going to school with more information about the Moors, but he's basically the one that woke me up.
So he's going to school to learn more about Moor.
So you're gonna put this on the G thing, right? You're gonna do this on the G thing.
Oh, it is on my G thing.
Okay.
It's not put on it. It's just on there.
See, everybody,
It is on there.
Gigi
and when I learn more about it, I'm definitely gonna put it on there.
You're gonna learn more about being a Moor and put it on your G spot. You said
right. She's gonna put it on a G thing.
Oh, her G thing. That's on G spot.
Well, hey, Gigi, you know we're gonna be waiting for you to do the G thing for us and the G spot, and we're gonna get all that together. But thank you for calling in today and spending time with us, because you know we're gonna make you a regular on STMK.
Yeah.
Stop the Madness, keep it 100. You know we just love you here, and we're gonna keep you coming back and everything.
I'm still trying to figure out who is this Stanley guy you keep calling.
Stanley.
Well, before you kick me off, why don't you look up the definition of Moor and black and Afro-American and tell me what you come
we
up
just
with.
come a long way from being called a nigger to African American to from black to Afro American. Now we got all these. We trying to evolve. We call all these different names. Now we evolve to a Moor.
Well, we gonna do more.
Moor is the original.
We gonna do more. We gonna do more.
Is the original.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
so
all right, Gigi, we're gonna talk to you later. Gigi, we're gonna talk to you later, boo boo.
Yeah, okay.
All right, babe. Bye bye.
That was GG and the G thing on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. That's just a little spot, one of our callers, and we like to welcome to call in. We're going to open up the phone lines now, do a little thing. Give us a call on 866-484-7836. That's 866-484-7836. We're going to open up the phone lines, and we want you to call us. Give us a call. The phone lines are now open on Stop the Madness. Keep it 100. 866-484-STMK. That's 866-484-STOP the Madness. Keep it 100. Well, Sax Man, without further ado, today our Girl Scout troop, our little girls, they're supposed to call us, and I think that the storm has them in. Uh, our main man, Doug Million, is snowed in and unable to get to Studio 51 also. But we're going to take this break, and we want everybody
Wait a
to
minute,
know
Sean,
right
before
here.
you take this break, I got you know who on the phone.
Who on the phone?
I got my cousin. Oh, wait a minute
Tell
now.
him to hold on for a minute.
Have to hold on for a minute. Hold on there, cousin.
That's
Hold on a second. No,
Doug Million. Doug Million is on the air.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. He's the perfect person.
Yeah, we got Doug on. Oh, you finally come to
Oh,
work,
yes,
huh?
Perfect.
Oh, man, what?
Wait a minute. Oh, it's perfect. No, because I got my hey, listen, I got my cousin Heavy D on the phone, and he got a question for you. So I'm glad you called in. This is perfect.
Hey, we got Heavy on the phone, but you know what, Mr. Million? Mr. Million, I am so happy. Heavy.
Hey, first off, congratulations. The Patriots, they dug deep and they found a way to win. I got to give credit where credit due. They won the game. They played a hellified game. All I can do is just, hats off to you.
You want to get him straight. You want to get him straight and let him know that it was a guaranteed win for them anyway. Come on, Heavy. Tell him.
Nah. Here we go. Freeman lost that game for him. He missed the block. Dude got sacked. I mean, they was arrogant. They should have ran the ball.
Well, Heavy.
And kicked the field goal. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is the Patriots found a way. They took advantage of an opportunity, and they capitalized on it, and you got to give it to them.
They were being a Super Bowl champ that they are more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times.
But Heavy. Let me ask you a question. Doug, wait a minute, Heavy. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Heavy, what neighborhood do you live in?
What neighborhood? I stay in Shaker.
You live in Shaker.
Oh, you live in Shaker. Do Mr. Rogers live up that way?
Because Mr. Rogers got to make his appearance because he lost. with his sweater and everything.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers live up here. His grandfather live up here. Great-great-grandfather, all that. He got it. Hey.
Beautiful day, and let's make it in his most spectacular way. Would you be mine? Could you be
Mr. Million.
Let him have his day. Let him have his day.
I'll let him have his day. I'll let him have his day.
I mean, you got to get credit where credit. They found a way to win the game, and they did it.
They did it.
They manned up.
That's right. They did it in spectacular fashion. They came back
But
at the end.
wait a minute. You know. Matter of fact, while we talking about that later on, I want everybody to know that we talked about this, and Mr. Million. Wait a minute. See, everybody forget about what we talked about on the last show.
I ain't forgot.
Yes, y'all did. Y'all forgot about the last show, didn't y'all?
I ain't forgot.
Yes, you did. Doug forgot about the last show, didn't you, Doug? Hold on. Let me.
No, I ain't forget about
Wait a minute. Hold on, Heavy. Hold on. Wait a minute, Heavy. Hold on for a minute. This isn't for you. This is for you. I want everybody here just to be quiet for a minute.
Oh yeah.
And okay, and Mr. Million, I want you to be quiet for a minute too, because I want the audience to remember what you got to pay us. Hold on. The problem here, folks. Let me just say this in the chat room. The problem here is
we don't care too much. Ain't nobody scared of Tom.
Tom, terrific.
No, ain't no.
Say, call him Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay. While you're playing, Michelle Jackson in the chat room. I got on my Tide Law throwback jersey. Okay, and Tom Brady will. And I'm going.
What Michelle say?
Michelle say ain't no doubt about it.
Michelle,
She
get out
say
the
one.
chat room.
She say a ring
Get out
for
the
the
chat
toe.
room.
And we have to look at this too. If Tom Brady beats the Steelers and get into the Super Bowl and win another Super Bowl, we got to start talking about the best of all time.
That's true. And you know, I'm a
Mr. Million, you remember that?
You know, I do remember that vaguely. I kind of remember that. You know what? Ain't no
Vaguely.
I'm not scared of Tom Brady. It just so happens, and I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you, Mr. Howard. I'm gonna give it to you. Here you go. All y'all out there that's listening, all y'all that's in the chat room.
Wait a minute, but the chat room. Wait a minute. The chat. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. The chat room said you have to pay in studio, so you can't give it to us on the phone, while you have.
Exactly.
We want video of you in your sweater.
Yep.
I promise you, when I come back to the studio next week, I will be dressed in my very best Mr. Rogers outfit. I'm bringing the sweater, I'm bringing the loafers. I'm gonna sing the song. I'm gonna put it on right there in the studio for all y'all in the chat room.
Right, because we.
But Sean, I want Sean Saxman to listen to me. I'm gonna say this, and y'all better listen up. Y'all better listen up. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL. Oh, I just said it. He is.
Oh, okay.
I sat there, and I watched that game, man. And I'm gonna tell you, Sean, man, my head was hanging low. when we got to that third quarter, man, when they made that second touchdown, I said, nah, here we go. And man, they did their thing.
But
Atlanta showed up, and it was a hell of a game.
Doug saw our faces.
Yeah, we seen your video too. I just didn't pull it up. But you know, Doug, I'm gonna say this.
Doug saw our faces, man.
But you know the problem. I'm gonna say this is that Atlanta Shanahan didn't want to win the game. Okay, I'm just gonna have to say this. When Julio Jones catch the ball at the 20-yard line with 3 minutes left to go, you feed that rock to Freeman and you kick the field goal.
Heavy. Is that true?
That's what you do. You don't throw the ball. You run the ball.
That's right. Heavy. You feed that rock to Freeman.
You know, you can't tell him nothing.
Right, you feed that rock to Freeman. You kick because your defense is spent. I'm gonna say this:
they was tired.
Your defense was done. That young defense put you in a position to win, and the coach let them down.
He left them out there too
and
long,
I don't know what it wasn't about them being out there too long. Is that they cannot keep that pace up against Tom Brady. And when in the second quarter, when Tom Brady stopped being hit and they couldn't get to him, that let you know then he was getting ready to pick the tree. Okay, but the clock was their friend. Okay. And when Julio Jones made the catch of the century,
that ball did not touch the ground, carry nobody.
Okay, and he took him to the 20-yard line. You got to get that rock to Freeman to tell Freeman you run that rock down their throat, and whatever happens, we at the 20, 17, 15-yard line. We kick the field goal, make it a two-score game. There's no way the Patriots can win the game. Okay, so that lets everybody know right there that Shanahan, I don't know what he's gonna do for San Francisco, but I'm fired. If I was San Francisco, I'd tear the contract up because that's a bad sign.
Even though they missed that field goal, it don't matter. I mean, that wasn't a field goal. That was the extra point.
Well, no, you know what? It didn't even go there. They was up by 8 points.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
So when you up by 8 points with less than 3 minutes to go, but Heavy, thank you for calling in on the line, and we appreciate you, my brother.
Thanks,
you know everything. Thank y'all for calling in.
We're gonna call you
right
again,
there,
baby.
Facebook Live, Snapchat, and everything. Without further ado, I have to say this: Girl Scout Troop 71803, North Collinwood area. That is the troop that STMK Radio 100 sponsor. They're having a cookie sale. And right now, they're making some big numbers there. So I want everybody to go to my Facebook page, Sean L. Howard, or STMK Radio 100 Facebook page, and show our kids some love because the Girl Scouts are out there and they're doing some great things. They did the boo at the district with the police. They did serving homeless people. They're going to do other stuff. And I just want to give a shout out to London, Samaya, Islin, Mackenzie, Alina, Amir, Krista. and little K Maddie, the brownie that's hanging with the big girls. I want all y'all to show our girls some love. And right now, we'll be right back.
When you buy delicious Girl Scout cookies, girls embark on great adventures. Explore exciting careers. Gain important life skills. Dream big. Face their fears. And so much more. That's right, your cookie purchase equals amazing experiences for millions of girls just like me.
We're here asking people from all over what they think of Lipton green tea. Let's hear what people from Texas have to say. How about China? Germany? How about people from the North Pole? Or Mars? What about mimes? Oh, right. People with their jaws wired shut? Yeah, a barbershop quartet. Oh, you guys are great. How about race car drivers? What about you, high school glee club, here on a field trip? Well, that settles it. It sounds like everyone loves the taste of Lipton green tea. With its protective antioxidants from real tea, it's not just good for you, it's to you.
Man, I dig inner monologues. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, look, a fillet of fish just sitting here in my mind being all delicious. Hey!
That's my sandwich.
What? How did you get in my inner monologue?
Door was open. Give it back.
Man, get your own invisible sandwich.
Any day is a great day for a Filet-O-Fish sandwich. And right now at McDonald's, you can get 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches for only $3.33. For limited time only, prices and participation may vary.
You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone.
Welcome back to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100. I'm your host, Sean L. And on the phone with us is Doug Million, who is snowed in and can't get in here. And okay, go ahead, Doug. Okay, you know what, Doug? You know
I'm
what?
cutting the cheddar cheese, the horse cheese, the hog head.
You have to say that one more time because you know what? We got you off of the virtual system when we got to put you back on virtual. So go ahead and say that one more time so everybody can hear you.
Hey, Sean, tell Sex Man I said, get your ass up out my chair, man. What did you do?
Hey.
Don't be looking down on the phone, man. I'm not over there in the corner.
Oh, you.
On my chair, man.
Oh.
Sit up there cutting the cheese all over my chair, bro.
Hey.
I'm cutting the cheese, the cheddar cheese, the hog head cheese. I'm talking about the Swiss.
Well, let me ask you this, Doug. Doug, you are watching us live on Ustream. Ain't that so? How we look on TV, man? Is everything all right? I mean,
Hey, man, the feed is beautiful, boy. The feed is beautiful. I'm getting to see what the folks in the chat room.
So,
so I'm looking. What is my best side? What's this side?
Yeah, the time some sex, man. What's your best side?
This side right
so,
here.
but without further ado, as I was telling everybody, because we still hooked up with our social media, and guess what? Facebook has stayed with us today.
Wow.
That is great.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
that's because Doug ain't here with them old corny jokes.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Wait, but
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So without further ado, we're going to go right back into it, and we had to do some national things. But what I want to talk to everybody about in the chat room, yes, we did get the segment, and we're getting ready to do that right now. This happened in Washington, D.C., so this did not happen in the city of Cleveland, so you're not going to put this on us because I'm not going to let you do this. But I am appalled. I'm gonna say this. Okay, I am gonna say this. I am appalled because the statement that was made by a person who is looked up to and who people believe is that when you're in the office with the president of the United States, so we're gonna get a little serious here, okay? Because I'm going to say this. When you're in the office with the president of the United States of America, and you have the press there, and people all over the world is listening to every word you say, you have to be very careful what you say, okay? And to be calling black men gang members and thugs, and that is how people across the world is going to look at us, I think is outrageous. And I think that every person in a who has any type of decency or any type of respect about themselves need to speak up about this. And I'm not going to say any names on the air, okay, because I do not believe in putting anyone down and labeling them, so everybody should know what who this person is.
And we don't want to see no guys in black suits and ties knocking
right.
on the door.
Well, you know what? I don't really care about the president or his people coming in because we do have First Amendment right, and I'm going to use my First Amendment right. But there's certain things that you're not supposed to say. But the control room has pulled it up. Since the control room has pulled it up, Doug, we're going to have to put you back on virtual again, so just you can hear my voice because you are watching us live. But this is from the control room. This happened last week, and everybody should be outraged about this statement.
So there are no gang leaders offering to reduce the body count in exchange for federal funds?
No, I mean, come on now. No.
Reverend Darrell Scott was laughing about it tonight. A few hours earlier, though, the Cleveland Heights, Ohio pastor was telling President Trump that Chicago's, quote, top gang thugs wanted him to pass along a sensational offer.
But they're going to commit that if they lower that body count, we'll come in and we'll do some social programs. Start talking about creating jobs. And before we start talking about all these other things, before we're able to implement them, we need to reduce that body count.
Ohio Pastor Darrell Scott told me it was a lack of sleep that caused him to tell President Trump Chicago gangs would trade a lower body count for more federal dollars. Scott said he actually spoke to one former gang member here, but not to any gang leaders.
Okay, so I'm going to say this, okay? How can you tell America and the world that the top gang thugs called you and said in front of the president that they love the Donald Trump's policies and that they're going to lower the body count for money? That's extortion, okay? Right there, Donald Trump should have looked at him and told him, get out of my office and send the National Guards down there, because what that says is they're telling the federal government, if you do not give us money, like Al Capone, I'm going to continue to kill people in Chicago. That's what it says, okay? I know it's smoke and mirrors, and everybody made that up, the smoke and mirrors, and it sounds good when you're sitting there in front of the Trump. But that was Black History Month, okay? They was having a Black History event. We're not even going to talk about Frederick Douglass, the quote or that, because this is, if it wasn't so crazy and hilarious, if Richard Pryor was the lie today, he'd have 2 gold platinum albums right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I am mad.
Yeah,
everybody should be mad, because this isn't something for CNN, MSNBC. This is something that countries and leaders and them around the world is listening to people in the White House calling Black men dangerous gang thugs.
And then gonna blame it on the lack of sleep. Dude,
Well,
let me tell you something.
It's more than a lack of sleep, it's a lack of respect.
I've worked 21 hours straight one time. 21 hours straight on the streets working. And I still ain't make no dumb move, mistake like that. And 21 hours of lack of sleep.
Then you look at what's going on.
To the brain. Exactly.
Doug, I don't know if you see the chat room thing coming across the Ustream thing, but in the chat room, we're not even going to talk about that other incident. We're going to go over that one. We're not going to talk about that, but I do believe that that this one needed to be said, that every Black male in America should be outraged, and that we as a people have to start standing up and showing ourselves better. We had Mitch Rowland on earlier. I don't know if you heard the candidate for Ward 4 councilman here in Cleveland, and he said some things that everybody should be listening to and looking at, that our kids need to see things so they can say they can be better. And this on the national scene that we're going to talk about here, we're going to bring it right into this, is that we have allowed an attorney general, okay, who has a history of discriminating against people.
Don't get me started.
Okay, we have allowed a Secretary of State who has a history of dealing with the foe for money. We have allowed a Secretary of Education who has no knowledge.
None
whatsoever. And then we have another problem that's coming around, is that we have a president who evidently is not even reading the executive orders that he signed. Okay, so America, we have a problem. Okay, so right now, America, we have a problem that we need to address, and we have to start our grassroots activism right here at home in our own backyard. As I said earlier, we have to start with our councilman. We have a young man who has a hell of a plan. We start with him and put him in office, and we get another 12 like him. Okay, then we get a mayor. Now I'm gonna say this on the mayor issue right there. We got 13 people running for mayor in the city of Cleveland, and everybody is looking at this. And at the last town hall that I was at, police reform is going to be a big issue there. That's going to be
the main topic.
That's going to be the main topic and front and center things. Roland Mitchell had some good ideas and stuff, but for a lot of people, when it comes to the mayor, that's not going to go far enough. You know, you got people like Eric Brewer, who we asked to come on to the show, but he hasn't put his papers in yet. Jeff Johnson, we have a thing out to him. He doesn't want to come on I'm going to say this, black station that can't do anything for him right now, so we're having a hard time. But Jeff, if you're listening, you need to come on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, and you need to talk to the people and tell us what you're going to do for us for mayor. Okay?
So no.
Well, we
had to form.
What we're gonna do is we got it out there for him. We're gonna let him come in and let him come with us. Also, there's
I'm gonna say this to all you councilmen, to all you people that are running for office right now, that are in the mayoral run for office right now. I'm gonna say this, and yes, this is Doug Million talking. Y'all need to stop being cowards and come on out the closet. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, Eric. Get on the show and talk to the people. Talk to the people, man. We are your constituents. We are your future constituents. We are the voters. We the ones that's gonna put you in or keep you out of office.
Even the black radio show.
Well, we're gonna make them come and see us. We're gonna make them come see us. But the thing of it is what we really want is we're going to talk about this because the issues that has to be talked about, we're going to hit. I did a roundtable Saturday, and I talked to a lot of victims of crimes, and they have a lot to say. And I think that we need to change the way that victims of crimes are handled and talked to. A lot of the complaints are nobody's coming back talking to them or telling them what they need to do. I think we need to create a special office in City Hall that deals with nothing but people who are victim of crimes in the city, because a lot of the misconception comes from people not knowing the operation and stuff. And Roland Mitchell, excuse me for getting it wrong. Roland Mitchell talked to that. And I think that young man has a program that if everybody gets behind him, even if you're not in Ward 4, come out and show him some support and get behind him. Because guess what? If we can get this young brother in there to get this change going, this could be a snowball effect.
That's right.
And I'm going to say it right now. Once a young man get in there and really start making that change, we can go pat about him. He could be the next Kirkpatrick. Okay, he could turn around and we may be putting him in the governor's office. We may be putting him in the mayor's office. Let's get this young man a chance to come on.
That's right. Because the other candidate who's already been in there, how many years you said?
Well, I'm gonna say this: Ken Johnson had 38
years,
and he has made his run. He has done the good things he can do, but he is meant to the point right now.
It's time to pass the torch.
Not only pass the torch, he cannot do any more. Okay, he cannot do any more, and he has not done any more. And it's time to get a person with fresh ideas. And it's time for everybody in the city. If you live in Ward 1 to Ward 13, all the way down, it's time to get behind this young man, push him up, come to his town halls, make him step out on that limb. And ask, hey, you want to know something? Don't hold no punches. Just like he came on the show, we didn't hold no punches. He gave us what he believed, and he has a idea because he's seen what he wants to vision. He's seen a vision, and I think if we get behind him, we can make that vision happen. And it sounds good for the city and the community.
Sean, it's something you said earlier. All the white people are moving out of Cleveland, and there's nothing left but us, black people. So black people should rally around a black candidate And I think he's qualified for the job. Why not?
Well, you know what? I'm not even gonna put it on a color issue because there's two situations right here.
Not even that. Let me piggyback off of what you were saying, Sax, man. But not even that. I heard somebody recently say that what's happening with these young people, man, we got to start rallying behind our young people because our young people, they have the technology and they have the know-how. And what we need to do is we need to get behind them. And what was said was what they need is a leader because they have the vision. They just need somebody to help them deliver the message.
Yep.
They need somebody to put
And
them in the right
that's
direction.
what
And we
Mitch.
got that in this young man, so we need to get behind him.
Right.
Us old school folks,
That's
us
right.
real folks,
That's right.
we need to get behind him and get his back and create this new village.
Right.
Bring our communities back and get behind our young folks.
One ward at a
Instead of being
time.
like church,
You know,
absolutely. And instead of being like these church folks and running folk out of the church,
You're right.
we need to start embracing our young folk and
Right.
trying to understand where they come from
Right.
so that we can see the message clear so then we can better lead them. Because I'm a true believer that the best leaders in the world know how to fall back first and follow their troops so that they then can better lead them when it's time
Well,
to go into
what we need in Cleveland and every black city across America, we need a refocus on our kids. And that starts with education.
Absolutely.
And education does not start in the first grade. It does not start in the second grade. It does not start in, it starts at home, and then you take it from home to school.
That's right.
And we want everybody to know that our kids is the most important thing right now.
They're our future.
Because at this point,
I don't want to try to sound corny, but they are.
they are the future.
Yeah.
But at this point, America is at the crossroads. Okay, there's so much going on, as we spoke earlier with Roland Mitchell, and we was asking them questions from the chat room about murders in that ward, the ward, Ward 4 and 5. About the fundings for the kids, the schools, the busing. I mean, there's a lot of problems here. And the first problem is that black people have to take responsibility for their own community. Okay. The second problem is that everybody has to step up to the plate, and regardless whether I like you or I don't like your program, I don't like your attitude, I don't like what you're pushing, we have to sit down at the table and agree to disagree and listen to each other so we can move forward with a plan. And that has to start right there.
If you got two candidates in the room running for the same office, and if you both got the same agendas and same ideas to help the community, it shouldn't be no back and forth.
Well, it has to be back and forth. You know why? Sachs? Because as being in the town halls and arguing with the Bernie or Bus people.
Candidates sitting in the same room and they agree absolutely on everything, they don't need to be in the same room because you have to be able to, like Sean said, you have to be able to agree to disagree.
Right.
You can agree to disagree, but if you and I believe in schools and safety, better homes, better streets, we both agree on that, and we using that as our platform, we both agreeing on that. What is there for us to disagree on?
Because our main thing is we don't share the same values.
So
okay, so what's going to happen in this thing where you believe, just like the Republicans, Republicans are not bad people. They just believe in forcing people to go by their values, and they don't want to accept you using nobody else's. Okay, so where I believe that a woman should have the choice for her body, you believe that she should not. But if you think that she shouldn't have that choice, then I'm going to say is, okay, if you don't want abortions to take place, then let's teach our kids safe sex. Let's give them condoms. Let's give them birth control, okay? And let's educate them, okay? But you're going to say, I don't even want you to do that.
Wow.
So now when you force a kid to, you don't properly train them, you force them to have a baby, now you're creating a baby to come into an environment where it's going to be abused
unhealthy
or live in poverty. But once the baby get here, you don't want the government to give them no funding. You can't have it both ways, okay? And when I say you can't have it both ways, that means going down the line. You cannot have gang members coming in the city, 19-year-old kids walking around like they 30-year-olds, sitting in bars, drinking with pistols, shooting up the street every day. Okay? There's no way we can allow this to happen.
Well, Sean, you remember a few months ago about my situation.
Right. But you look at this, Doug, if you're still with us, you're going in and out on virtual, so you're going to have to go off of my voice. Okay. So you look at the situation in East Cleveland. Here you have 19-year-olds sitting in a liquor establishment. First of all, that bar.
That bar's a bad bar.
No,
period.
no, it shouldn't even be open.
It's a
The
terrible
community, the mayor, should be closed.
It shouldn't. It's been
Right.
it's been bad for years.
It doesn't make a difference, Sax. Let me say this.
Man.
Let me say this right here. And I'm going to say this all across America in the 19 cities. The mayor and the community should have been standing outside that bar with the sheriff of the county,
Ready to board it
taking that license off the wall
Ready to board it
and
up.
boarding that place up. They're on Facebook Live. Wait a minute. They're on Facebook Live with 19-year-old kids drinking at the bar. You don't need no more evidence.
right.
And then that 19-year-old kid that was drinking at the bar goes out into the parking lot with a weapon and shoot up the parking lot, killing somebody. Come on, people. It's time for the community to say we're not going to have this no more. It's time for the community to walk down there, board that place up, and tell them they're out of business. East Cleveland, Cleveland, Atlanta, okay, Chicago. It's time that we have to take control of our community, okay? We can no longer allow somebody else to come and do this. This is why our communities are in the situation it is. This is why people can go into the president in the White House and sit there with the president on Black History Month and say anything they want to say. You know why? Because there's no consequences for their actions. When you have a society where there's no consequences, anything goes. We as a people have to stop that.
Well, Sean, you know what the difference that in East Cleveland that happened the night that I worked? The difference was the party goers at the place where I was at, one of the females heard the black guy say, the young kid say, I'm gonna come back and shoot the place up. And when he left out, he went to the car. The young girl heard that, and instead of blowing off, say, "Oh, he ain't gonna do it," she came out and grabbed the closest police officer, which was me, and two other police officers outside in the parking lot. Came and said, that young man is walking over there to that car right now, just threatened to come back into the establishment and shoot the place up. We said, oh, really? I grabbed the other two. He walked over there. Sure enough, he was getting in the car and had the gun on his lap.
But he's going to do this. You know why? Because our kids feel that it's a video game.
Yeah.
Okay? There's no consequences.
Right.
Okay? See,
Right.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this about in the 80s when they started mandatory sentences and stuff, okay? Hillary Clinton did not create the crime bill, okay? So we have to understand this.
I thought it was the husband.
No, it wasn't even a husband. Black leaders all across America came to President Clinton and wanted the crime bill, okay? And they wanted the crime bill because crack was out of control.
Out of control.
Our neighborhoods was being destroyed, okay? So the problem here is in the 80s we had to take such tragic measures, okay? Now in 2000 we have 16-year-olds running around with guns. We have 16-year-olds in bars drinking. Okay, the owners don't even care. They're scared to say something to these kids. We have kids carjacking people at gas stations.
Stealing cars and
okay,
doing drive,
we have kids
grab.
walking into malls fighting. We have social media that has taken over everything. And I love social media, but at some point in time, we're going to have to put social media in control.
I missed the old beeper days.
Because you have to look at this. I just got this thing that our control room personnel and our IT looked at. Social media, Facebook and Snapchat Live and Twitter Live have people committing suicide live, okay? So their friends can see it, okay? You have people committing crimes live.
Live on Facebook.
You know,
Drive-by shootings
and I'm
on
going to
Facebook.
say this, it ain't a bad thing, because you know why? Because the idiots go back and put it up on Facebook. Now the police got all the evidence. That's how East Cleveland was able to arrest the 3 individuals who killed the person at the bar the other night, because guess what? They was on Facebook Live, all three of them on Facebook Live. So, I mean, there is a thing for that. But
It's called idiocy, stupidity.
There has to be some type of morality here. We have lost, society has lost that, and something has to come back.
Sean, now we got the opioid problem, but that's not really
I'm going to say this right here. The heroin problem has been around since the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but it wasn't a problem. And what's the name of the show? Stop the Madness,
real.
Keep It 100.
That's right.
The heroin was an opium problem was not a problem until it came into the suburbs, and it wasn't an inner city problem.
That's right.
Okay, had they corrected that problem back in the 80s and treated the suburb
back
kids.
in the 70s.
No, I'm going back to the 80s.
Okay.
Had they gave the suburb kids the same jail time they gave the inner city kids, guess what? We would not have an opium problem right now.
But it's a color barrier. It's like what I said.
I'm not going to even say color.
Oh,
I'm going to go to society not dealing with the problem properly at hand. See, the thing what we have to do as a community, we have to quit trying to put it on that level of somebody else doing something to us. And when you put it on that level, or I sit here and being heard in 19 cities across America and all over the web and all the social media sites. Hey, Doug, yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this. It's definitely not a color barrier. It's a demographic thing, because like you say, until it reaches the suburbs, until it reaches the outer limits and get into their home, it's never a problem.
That's right. And that's why
we got to put a stop. We got to take a page out of their book and put a stop to it ourselves, like they do. We gotta stop it from being a problem before it reach out there.
And that's the whole thing right there.
Doug. Okay, Doug, I have a question. I'm be devil's advocate. All right, you a mother of 4. All right, you all by yourself. You know, you on welfare, you ain't got no job, and your oldest out of 4 out there, selling dope. And that dope money is actually coming in and paying the rent, the lights, the food, and putting buying clothes for the other 3, and giving mama her hair and her nails done.
He got to go.
No. Now, you see that your son is selling dope. He's breaking the law, but he's bringing the income in because the father is gone. He's either in jail or ain't in their life. So ain't no money coming in by nobody. I'm just using this as an example.
But that's a sad example. You know what? Wait a minute, Doug. Wait a minute, Doug. That's
this is why. No, but I'm saying this. This is the reason why in the ghetto, I'm gonna say in the ghetto communities, why there's no one saying anything. Because the majority of them are involved.
No, that's a sad example.
But
you know what?
It's the truth.
No, it's a sad example. You know why? Because there's plenty of single mothers out there that's raising 4, 5, 6 kids. And are raising them properly and doing that.
We can use
and
an
I'm not,
example. We can use another example. Tamir is right.
Sachs. I'm not going to allow you to put that stigma on my sisters. That can't happen. Nope, that can't happen. We do have sisters out there that don't take care of their stuff, but the majority of
I didn't say the majority.
But I'm gonna tell you, 99% of the sisters do handle their business and raise their kids properly.
I didn't say the majority. I say those aren't.
So you have to go right, but you have to go back into the way they was raised, when the babies was raised. You can't put that stigma on our black women, and I can't let you do it because Sister X and all the rest of them. I'm gonna have to stand up for my sisters.
I understand.
Okay, and Doug Million.
Keeping it real. This is 100.
I'm
keeping it 100.
Right, but
I got to say about that. Here's what I got to say about that, because I was raised by a single mother, and in my mother's household, she wasn't gonna have it.
Neither did mine.
I was the youngest of 3. I was the youngest of 3, and I was the only boy. And my mother was not having it at all.
Right.
As soon as I started doing things that was against my mother's rules, as soon as I started doing things that were against the law, that were outside of the norm, my mother told me, okay, if you think you want to be a grown man, then you're going to have to go out there and do that, but you're not going to do that in my household. And
different times, though, Doug, different times. Different times, man. This is the 21st century. It's different.
Believe it or not, in this day and age, you do have some younger mothers.
You got a lot of younger mamas. You got a lot of them.
Same philosophy and don't stand for that.
Right, but
don't stand for that.
You have to look at this also.
They don't have the support system that they need. What the problem is they don't have the support system that they need, and us men, again, here I go with that again,
Us men, okay. Right.
And stand up and start leading again.
Right.
Because a lot of them just don't have that support system like myself. I have 3 children.
All right.
I have 3 children, and I'm not married to their mother. I got 1 baby mama. But when it comes down to our children, me and this woman, we don't even talk for years, but when it comes down to our children, I got to man up and be a parent, and I tell all my children, all my grown children, that first and foremost, I have to be a parent. I don't have to like what your mother say. I don't have to agree with what she say. But right is wrong is wrong. And that's what we have to get back to.
That's true. We have to get back to that. But the problem is, what I want to say is that we have to educate our community. And that comes into everything, education, giving our young females the tools and the training and the resources so they can make good decisions, okay? And then you have to look at this, Sax. It comes on a multi-factors, okay? But when you put people in positions to fail and they have no opportunity to come out of it, it creates a problem. Now, if we had that answer, that's why we have a young man that is running for council who has a vision. That's why we have to get behind his vision to push him so those young people can have something to look forward to. Right now, they don't have anything to look forward to. They don't look forward to tomorrow. They don't look forward to go to college. They're locked in. Our school systems are failing, and it's getting ready to even get worse, okay? So when we get into that situation of it getting worse, then we have that problem. But I like to thank everybody right there, especially the people on Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube Live, and Ustream. Doug Million is snowed in. He's on the phone with us, but he's going virtual on the phone, so he's coming in and out. I know he's still with us, Doug. We're working on that to get you back on the thing.
Doug, that's the excuse you're going to use, and you're going to stick to it. I got you. Snowed in. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Doug is there.
Whatever, man.
Our Girl Scout troop, 71803. I want everybody to go and buy some cookies for our girls, because here at Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, we do give back to the community, and we do a lot of work for the community. You heard earlier today we had Roland Mitchell on, Mayor Frank Jackson. We're trying to get him on. We have a lot of the activists coming on. Last show we had the family of the murdered girls on our show. Yes. There's a lot of things happening in the community, and we have to get involved and make that change.
Right.
And this show, we keep it real. We don't hold no punches, okay?
I'm real passionate about telling it like it is. I have
well,
no
we
problem.
know you want to tell everything.
I tell it. I don't have no problem. I tell it.
But, you know, we want to come back into the one thing is that on our we was talking about the situation with our pastor here in Cleveland. And in the chat room, we love our chat room, and the chat room is really saying something that disturbs me, and I'm going to say this right here. A lot of people in the chat room are saying that is why they do not go to church or they deal with our religious leaders. And that right there, to me, is the biggest failure in society. We are allowing people to dictate our relationship with God, okay? And you don't go to church to be with the pastor, okay? So, I mean...
but if you got a false angel standing in front of you in the robe...
But you got to get the community. I mean, your kids have your kids.
It's kind of hard to follow this. It's kind of hard.
I wouldn't follow him, but you have to. But there's 1,000 shepherds out there. But you got to get your kids into a relationship with God, and the only way to get them into that relationship, you're going to have to put them into the house of the Lord. Yeah. I mean, it's going to have to happen. They can't get it from the streets. Okay,
they can't.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to have to happen, and I think when we lost our relationship with God and we stopped trying to get a relationship with God. This is why we got all the problems we
So
have.
when you think, at what point do you think we've lost contact with God?
Truthfully,
Uh-huh.
when we allow Jesus to be put on the cross.
Okay.
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 When one of his disciples denied him before the crow came 4 times. Okay, let's keep it real.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We allow again society to dictate what we're going to do.
Right.
Okay, and a man with no sin came down here, and we allowed him to die for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you just have to look at that. Okay, and ever since then, we have been fighting and fighting and fighting, and nothing has changed.
When they choose a murderer over your savior, you know,
Well,
we're done.
Right. Well, you know
when
what?
they pick Barabbas over Jesus.
But you have to go back into to the people that's religion in the chat room. You have to look at this too. Our Father makes no mistakes, and that was his plan.
Of course.
Okay.
Of
So
course.
so when you go, just like Donald Trump's in office. Okay. Donald Trump's in office for a reason.
That was a design.
That was a design
That was
plan
exactly what it
by
was.
the Father.
That's right.
Okay. So nobody knows what the plan is. Just like me. Okay. I served 32 years out on the streets of Cleveland carrying a gun. I've been in shootouts. I've been doing it. Nobody would have told me that after I retired, I was going to be doing a national talk show.
Right.
Okay. National web talk show. Nobody told me that. Okay. You could never figure that. Just like with you being out there right now, and you know, nobody told you, oh, you're going to be doing this, sitting here talking with us.
Idea. Yep. I had
So, you know, we have to keep all that on the line thing.
There's a design, there's a
we're
design
trying to get back connected with Doug Million because, you know, he is the funny man. And
Doug ran because he know he's on the hot seat.
you know what? He does owe us a Mr. Rogers.
Oh my God! In person, not on the phone.
Oh yeah, I want to see the sweater.
I got to see I want to see the tennis shoes. Remember, he puts the tennis shoes
But
on.
Doug, wait a minute. You looking at us live, Doug? We are on TV. Everybody, if you want to see us live on TV, Facebook did stay with us. Snapchat and YouTube Live is still with us.
Yes.
But Doug, you are on TV and you are listening to us, so you know we're trying to get you back in as we can. But I've never watched the show live. So when you do get back in, I want you to tell us how the show is live. Are you listening to us? Are you learning something?
Yeah.
Did Sax teach you something today? So when you turn off the show, you can turn around and say, hey, I learned something. You know,
something to make you go,
Hey, we have people on Facebook. I just want to say hey to Lynn Colston, Mildred from Chicago. Hey, Mildred, thank you for coming with us. Councilman-elect Roland Mitchell is back with us live.
Got my vote.
Yeah, we gonna sit that brother up. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna get that brother in office.
I was gonna vote for Zach again if he didn't make no, I mean not Zach. I forgot the dude's name. Just that.
Oh man, how you gonna forget somebody's name?
I forgot his name.
Hey, are you kidding to Rick Perry? Are you kidding to Rick Perry?
I'm sorry.
Let me see if we could get Doug back in. Doug Million, are you still with us?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, we got you back.
Are you still wearing that sweater?
Okay, we got you back. We got you back.
Man, quit trying to vote for yourself. You can't vote for yourself, man. Then you get up out of my chair and cut all that nonsense out. I learned that sex, man.
Doug, the chat room.
He kind of figured it out.
Doug, the chat room. I know you on the phone, so you can't actually hear what's going on. But the chat room want to know: are we going to see the sweater, the pants, and the glasses? And are we going
the tennis shoes?
No, and are we going to actually hear Mr. Rogers
I
in
want
person?
to see the tennis shoes too. I want to see tennis shoes too.
Listen, for the first time live, when I come next week, I promise the chat room and I promise everybody live, just like I said I'm going to do, I stand good on all my bets. I'm bringing the tennis shoes, I'm going to add a sweater, the shirt, the tie,
Oh,
the
no.
glasses.
Did you say that?
No.
Oh, no.
Boy.
Did you say that?
You gonna have a pipe too? You gonna have the little bent curve pipe he had?
Wait a minute. Somebody in the chat room just put this, and you know what? I'm not gonna say this the way they said it, but the question is, are you gonna be blackface?
Oh, my goodness. They went there. And you know what? If I got to do the bleach cream, I'll do the bleach cream too. I'm going to go all out on this thing.
Okay.
And I'm going to come in. I'm going to bring Mr. Rogers. I'm going to pick Mr. Rogers up, and I'm going to bring him along with me. So, you guys chat room, I'm sorry to all my fans out there, to all the listeners and partners out there. Y'all won't get to see Doug Milligan again next week because Mr. Rogers is coming to STMK Radio and he's taking my place for next week. How about that?
Whatever, man.
Well, you know, Doug, we gonna appreciate that, and we really want you to come back with us, and everybody on Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube Live, and everything that we running into this area, and it's about that time. But before we go off the air,
wait a minute. Before we go,
we have another call on the phone.
I got a friend of mine named Martell.
Martell, put Martell on the line. Everybody, Martell gonna call. Martell.
Martell, tell that girl to get out your bedroom for a minute. You got to talk on the air. You
Right,
on the air live.
You on the air live. Do you know? Wait a minute. You know, everybody just heard your conversation going across 19 cities and all the web. Hey, hey, let me ask you this question, Martell. That ain't your side piece, is it? Because you busted. Okay, but welcome to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100.
You said what now?
Welcome to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100. You on the air with us, and we're talking about Tom Brady and the Atlanta Falcons. So tell us what you want to say about that.
Oh, well, one of the players. Well, when Tom Brady didn't go see Obama, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, well, you know, yes, Tom Brady didn't want to go see Obama.
But I'm quite sure. No, he didn't. So I'm quite sure he's going to be there for Donald Trump.
Well,
however, I'm on the air. I'm on the radio. So, however, one of the players, I understand, he's not going to participate. So, I mean, they've been calling him everything, the N-word and a bunch of other stuff.
But you have
I can't remember the player's name.
Right, Bennett, the tight end Bennett said he wasn't going. But you have to look at this also. A lot of other players are not going to go also. So, I mean, it's the same thing that happened when Brady refused to go, so they're going to refuse to go. So that's their political preferences.
But it's double standards, though. I mean, it's okay if I do that, but don't do as I do as I say.
But let me ask you this one question. The double standard was set when Obama came into office. Also, the double standard was set for this past election. So we working in a two-system tier.
Oh, yeah. What do you got to say about that, Tail?
We never did leave ancient Rome. How about that?
Okay, there you go. But thank you, Martell, for coming on the air, and we will get you back because you know what? I like the way you think. So we're going to have to get you back and get you to talking with us live on the studio for some time on a free-for-all Thursday or something.
Gigi told me to tell you, hey, Martell.
All right, you know, everybody, we like to thank everybody for tuning in with us. And, well, Sax Man, it's that time.
Big is big, I can't lose. Sugar bow down, I'm the next to rule, but I'ma stay on the cool, remain on the under, cause like Andre 3000, your boy's ice cold. Ain't no limit to the gimmicks and ways to make money. No limit to the just to act funny when you get that cake, cause you spit that way. They may love you tomorrow when they hate you today, but yo, that's the way the story goes. So I was told, following the ramble down the yellow brick road. Please believe at the end, ain't no pie to go. Just some platinum beats from the Cleveland streets.
You ain't never ever seen a gangster quite like me.
You know I don't give them, and never gave them. I'm just living it up.
No, I hold it down, baby, because I'm certified G.
I'm just living it up. The money can't go with me, so I'm spending it up.
Well, Sax Man, thank you for sitting and filling in for Doug Million in his chair. Doug, he's sitting in your chair. You better hurry up back.
Come get your chair, buddy.
Go ahead and say something to our good people before we.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in to STMK 100 Live, keeping it 100. I want to thank everyone on Snapchat, SoundCloud, Facebook Live, YouTube, all that good stuff. Thank you, and please tune in next week. I promise you, Next week's show gonna be much, 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 much better.
I want to say thank you all for tuning in to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 here on STMK Radio 100. I'm your host, Sean L. And until next time, peace, love, and happiness.
You've been listening to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100.